Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're going to look at a game between Lev Polugaevsky against Rashid Nezhmetdinov, played in 1958. And this is quite a famous game that you may have seen or heard of. In fact, I remember looking at this when I was about 15. There was a great Nezhmetdinov book with all his best games in, and you just simply have to just turn any page and you'll find a brilliant game. So this guy is absolutely unreal at playing chess, and his sacrifices in many games are this stuff of legend that I think many chess YouTubers actually covered, but we're going to go through this game today. So here I've switched the board round. Lev Polugaevsky is white and Rashid Nezhmetdinov is black. Polugaevsky kicks us off with 1d4 and Nezhmetdinov plays his traditional move knight f6 and gets into an old Indian. So he plays d6 here, knight c3 and this interesting e5 move. I think many people wonder why white doesn't just take this, so after takes and they swap queens off. This is actually a nice position for black. I've played some positions like this myself, and after a move like knight f3, knight fd7, black's now just going to play f6 and develop maybe c6, bishop e7, king c7 and just develop slowly, and white really can't do anything in these type of positions. If you really want to gain a grasp on these type of positions, I would recommend looking at the lion variation. I think Andrew Martin actually did a great video on that, so check it out. Anyway, after e5, Polugaevsky played the interesting move e4. And here, black now decides to destroy white's centre with e takes d4. And after queen takes, Rashid now plays knight c6, attacking the queen and developing a piece. This is all very logical at the moment. Now I thought this was an interesting move, queen d2, because it blocks in the c1 bishop, but white's plan here is to play b3 and bishop b2, so that's fair enough. Here black now plays g6, b3 and bishop g7, bishop b2, both free and chattering, castles and bishop d3 from white. Now this bishop looks pretty awkward to me because that e4 pawn's blocking it in. Knight b4 could be played at any moment to attack it, so yeah, that bishop might need some nursing throughout the game. Nezhmetdinov now played an interesting move, opening up this dark squared bishop, played knight to g4, I think threatening to play bishop to d4 and attacking this f2 pawn. I was wondering what would happen if white just simply kicks this away, and there's several moves here, so I wondered, so is queen h4 possible? But it doesn't look possible after knight to f3 because the queen's got to move away. After queen h6 and a couple of captures later in the castles, white's actually doing fine here, so queen h4 is no threat to white. After h3, maybe knight ge5 can be played, and after bishop c2 we can play queen h4 now as black. But after g3 and queen h5, white can now just play king f1 and hide in the corner. Doesn't need to castle in this position. So after knight f3, takes and rook h2. Amazingly, white is actually doing fine here now. It looks a bit awkward, the rook on h2, but white actually has most of his pieces out and in decent shape. But after knight g4, Polugaevsky actually played knight ge2, and Nezhmetdinov now followed up with a great move actually, queen h4. So straight away we're attacking this f2 pawn, and I think now white should just play g3. I don't see the problem with this move. g3, queen h6, captures and knight to f4. Bishop g4 maybe to stop castling. After h3, bishop f3 and castles again after rook e8, and this is anyone's game now, so it's quite even. Pieces are out for both sides. I think white might be slightly worse off with this weak e4 pawn, but again, this is anyone's game. I think Polugaevsky played a weaker move, knight to g3 here, so this just blocks the queen. It doesn't really counter anything in any way. Saying that, I think Nezhmetdinov should now punish this move with f5, and there's a great variation. So after e takes f5, black can now just play bishop to h6, attacking the queen, and the queen's forced to move, and now black can recapture this pawn. And after bishop takes and g takes, maybe queen e6 thrown in with rook f7, we're getting to this interesting computer variation. So after a move like knight d1, black now plays queen e7, and after captures king f1, we can play bishop d2, threatening mate on e1. So knight e3 is forced, and after bishop takes, f takes and knight takes, king f2, f4, Black's actually doing so much better now. The knight's attacked, he's got to move to an awkward square, and Black's also a pawn up. So this f5 move in this position was quite strong. However, Black's played a decent move, knight Ge5, just keeping the knight in the game in the centre, attacking that bishop. And Polugaevsky now castles kingside, a very bold move, I think. But now Nezhmetdinov played f5, like previously said, this is a very strong move. If e takes f5, g takes f5, knight ge2, foreshadowing this f4 move. After knight takes and f4, Black's actually doing quite well here and has a great attack coming right up. So this is why White didn't take it. Instead, Polugaevsky played f3, supporting the centre. However, I've just highlighted these black squares in red. Just note how easy it would be for that black bishop to hop into any of these. So White's got to be extremely careful now. And as I say that, Nezhmetdinov now played bishop h6 to punish f3. So bishop e3 would be a nice square for the bishop to hide on. And here Polugaevsky played queen to d1. So bishop e3 now is a move. And after king h1, f4, the knight moves back and g5. This would be incredibly strong for black. We've got rook f6, maybe rook h6 coming, g4, g3 is coming in, and if ever White now plays h3, the bishop on c8 could be sacrificed. So Black's doing incredibly well here. Instead though, Nezhmetdinov actually played f4, which actually blocks the black bishop in. So it's a very unusual move, but it's attacking the knight, so the knight is forced to move back. And Nezhmetdinov reinforces now with g5. Maybe hoping to play g4 and f3 at some point, and the bishop will be unleashed again. Here Polugaevsky played knight to d5, getting some counter attacks and opening this black squared bishop up. But Nezhmetdinov just ignores this. He ignores knight takes c7. He plays g4 straight away. So let's see what happens if f takes g4 here. Well, knight takes g4 can be played, and mate's threatened on h2. After h3, you could play f3, attacking the knight on e2. And if h takes g4 here, maybe just f2, and this looks incredibly dangerous. So after f3, maybe rook takes f3. After rook takes f3, queen f2 is threatened. So h takes g4, and now bishop takes g4. If g takes f3, bishop takes f3. Mate's coming very soon. Black's in such a great position here. The king is absolutely wide open for White, and even though White's got loads of pieces on the other side of the board, White's protection is lacking. After g4 though, Polugaevsky played g3 here, attacking the queen and attacking this f4 pawn. So the obvious move now is just f takes g3. After h takes, Nezhmetdinov played queen h3, and f4 is now played by White. Black plays bishop to e6, attacking this knight, and we have a few moves that could be played here now. Knight takes c7 here could be an option, but there's actually an amazing rook sacrifice now. Rook takes f4, incredible. And if g takes f4, we can play g3 as black, threatening queen h2, mate. So knight takes c7 just doesn't work. That rook sacrifice is amazing actually, by the way. Bishop takes e5 is another option, and this actually gets into a drawn position. After knight takes e5, the king can actually play to f2, and if check, king e3, rook h1 is now threatened, so black actually has to go back to queen h3, threatening bishop f4 check. And after king f2, just check again, king e3, queen h3, and if we repeat moves, so king e3, let's see what happens if black now takes on d5. Well, rook h1 can be played, queen g2, queen f1, and check. Takes, rook takes h6, knight g4, king captures, and after a move like bishop takes e4, king takes g4, bishop d3, knight d4, White's actually doing much better now. So this could have been an option for Polugaevsky. He could have played bishop takes e5 here and gone into that similar variation, or possibly gone for the draw with a perpetual. Instead, after bishop to e6, Polugaevsky now plays bishop to c2, moving this bishop back away from this knight e5. I was wondering what happens if black captures on d5 here. So if bishop takes d5, the queen captures, and now black can actually play rook f7, amazingly. And if bishop c3, rook e8, these are all computer moves by Stockfish, by the way, playing supposedly the best moves. Rook ad1, and now knight f3. And if king f2, queen h2, the king's hiding again, and amazingly we play knight to e7. And if queen e6, knight f5, white's actually losing the queen after e takes and rook takes the queen. So this is how desperate white's position is after this variation of moves. So after king e4, queen f7, black's going to threaten to take on e6. So after knight d4, takes, we're getting to this endgame. And amazingly, Stockfish actually gives this as winning for black after king e3. Now, black's actually a pawn up, so they've got a queen and a pawn for the two rooks. So it's interesting that it gives black as winning, because usually you'd think that the two rooks would be quite solid. I'm guessing it's because that pawn on g4 is so high up. It's put weaknesses in white's camp, and the king's quite open. So this would have been an interesting game for black if bishop takes d5 here. Instead, I think Nezhmetdinov played it sensibly. He played rook f7 now, protecting c7, and just asking white the question, what are you going to do next, basically. So here Polugaevsky now plays king f2, noticing all these threats that are coming up, such as knight to f3. And Nezhmetdinov now played queen h2. Polugaevsky runs, he plays king to e3, and now Nezhmetdinov captures on d5 and c takes d5. So what's this done is just got rid of white's most powerful piece and left many tactics on the board. Again, white can't take this knight on e5 due to the pin on h6 from the bishop, so knight b4 is now played. a3 was suggested as a better move than what was played, and after knight takes c2, queen takes. Queen h3 now, ganging up on this f4 square. And bishop takes e5, d takes, king d3, and rook takes f4. If knight captures, queen takes g3. After king c4, bishop f4, this gives black in a better position. Even though black's the exchange down, these two passed pawns on the h and g file are really powerful. White's got to play amazing to stop these. Instead of a3, rook h1 is played by Polugaevsky. Now I'm just wondering here, I'll give you 5 seconds to spot this amazing move. I wonder what you would play here as black. So amazingly here, Nezhmetdinov now played a rook sacrifice, or should I say a queen sacrifice, because the queen's actually under attack. So he plays rook takes f4 here. So let's just quickly go through. If g takes f4, bishop will capture. If the knight captures, knight takes c2 is coming in, and queen takes c2 is forced, and queen takes c2. And after bishop takes e5, d takes, and knight to e6, moves like queen c3 can come. And if king e2 here, just play queen f3, king d2, and we're just going to capture on e4, and black's position's quite screwed up. Even though it looks like white's got more pieces, the position's absolutely destroyed, and this rook's going to come into the game very soon, so white could resign here. Instead, after rook takes f4, Polugaevsky now took on h2. But this actually leads to a good position for black, because Nezhmetdinov now played rook f3. Double check, so the bishop on h6 checking the king, the rook on f3 is checking the king, and the only square it can go to is d4, so king to d4. And now actually Nezhmetdinov played a very calm move. It's very tempting to play a check to try and force the king into a mate, but Nezhmetdinov just played a very calm move, bishop to g7, threatening a move like knight to d3 with a discovered check. So this is very powerful. Polugaevsky now actually played a4, maybe trying to stop moves like b5, but here there's actually a mate in 8. Can you see it? I'll give you 5 seconds to try and find the next move that Nezhmetdinov played. So amazingly here he played c5 check. So that's going to be mate, so d takes is forced, and now he just recaptures, threatening c5 checkmate. Bishop to d3 is played. It blunts this rook slightly, so king c3 could be played. But after knight takes d3, the king's now just forced to c4. e5 was also possible here, but then just comes bishop takes e5, and after king e4, just d5, checkmate. So knight takes d3, king c4 is one of the early moves, and now Nezhmetdinov just follows up with d5 check, and again captures has to be played, c takes, and now the only move is king b5, and now it's actually mate in 3. So Nezhmetdinov now played rook b8 check, and after king a5, knight c6, white actually resigned here. This is because after king a6, there's many mates that can be played, such as knight to b4 checkmate. So this is such an amazing game because of the queen sacrifice obviously, but also the fact that you saw a mate in 8. Obviously this rook f4 move now was just absolutely incredible. How many of us would honestly have seen that? I think it's really hard to spot. Even after rook h2, white's actually still in the game. After rook f3 and king d4, black's actually doing better, but it's still hard to see all these potential checkmates. I think my favourite move is just playing bishop to g7 because it puts white in a struggle. It's asking white the question, what do you want to do next? Where are you going to play? And it forces white into a mistake with this a4 move. And Nezhmetdinov now just punishes that with c5, and we have this mate in 8, which is just incredible. And it really takes a strong mind to see all these possible variations. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that game. I'm sure many other YouTubers have also covered this, so check out their videos. But thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you did enjoy my video, and I'll post more chess content very soon. See you next time.